there, you know. I mean, I even had these maternity things, but little by little, it's like, no, that one's too tight now.
Here we go. Stand by. 3, 2, 1, action.
Amy, I have wanted to interview you for a long time, and I missed out on Johnny Dangerously, so I just leaped at the chance to get to talk with you because I really admire your work, and I admire the fact that we have young women filmmakers. And I'm not, one of these waving always the banner for women, but I just, for such a long time, it felt like, hey, give the women a chance, that's all. And so you represent something that I really admire, and I'm happy to talk with you. I got to thinking about you're making this movie, National Lampoon's European Vacation, and I got to thinking, Amy Heckerling is the only woman I know who went to Europe on her honeymoon without her husband.
Right.
How many months had you been married at that point?
We got married July 22nd, and that's September, beginning of September, I was in Europe. So I was home for about a month after the marriage. And I wasn't sure I was doing the movie for a long time. And I wasn't sure I was getting married for a long time too. But when we went into it, we knew it was this thing looming ahead, that, it was going to be coming up.
And of course, your husband being in the business, who is Neil Israel,
yeah,
writer, producer, and
director.
Yeah. Does that make it easier then for you to lead your separate lives?
That one was particularly hard because we both started shooting a movie on the exact same day.
What was he shooting?
He was shooting a movie called Moving Violations with John Murray, and we started shooting the exact day. We ended shooting within a few days of each other. And so we were both going through this very hectic period where you'd normally want to support the other person, but we were both going through it. And we thought, well, okay, let's pretend this is like a blank spot in our lives that'll just go by and it'll be over. But it was very hard because you really do want the other person there for you. And we also had a 9-hour time difference, even just to talk on the phone.
So you had to take that into consideration.
Yeah.
Well, now, of course, you have another production that is imminent.
Development, yeah.
Yes. When is your child due?
It's due at the end of August.
So now that is going to be something else to work into the equation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Will you continue to do films, or are you going to take a little hiatus?
I'd like to continue. You never know what's going to happen, of course. I hope everything goes smoothly, there's no complications, and everything's fine. And I'm developing some projects, and hopefully when the baby's a couple of months old, I'll be able to get more deeply involved in them. I obviously can't take a green-lighted movie right now. I can't say, okay, I could shoot in a month, because I can't.
Do you and your husband talk over projects? In other words, when he's working on a script and you're, got a project, do you kind of share the projects with one another?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I met Neil when I was doing Johnny Dangerously, and we wanted a rewrite, and he was one of the writers on it. And we do read each other's, projects and make comments, and I think I'm more of a help when I see a cut, and more useful talking about the editing process. He's been a writer for a long time also, and so he's very good at suggesting jokes. There's a lot of jokes in Vacation that were his.
Can you think of one right off the top of your head?
Yeah, it's a silly one, but I'll tell you anyway. They're sitting in the airplane, and a stewardess says to Chevy, can I get you something to drink? And he goes, yeah, I'll have a Coke. And she goes, do you want that in the can? And Chevy gives a glance to the bathroom in the back, and he thinks for a moment. He goes, no, I'll have it here. And it's very stupid, but it's always gotten a laugh.
That's what counts.
Yeah.
Working in Europe was a new experience for you, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we know you got the language problems and the this and the that. If you knew then what you know now, would you still have done the film?
I don't know. Yeah, I guess I would. I would have known more about how difficult it was going to be, but I would have still tried it. if I had known more now about, you know, what it would have been like, I would have studied harder my French when I was in school.
Was that the biggest problem, the language?
The languages, for me, that was an enormous problem.
But you use interpreters, don't you, to work with the various crews?
But it's so hard when you see an actor and you're trying to tell him something and he doesn't know what you're saying, and you say it to an interpreter and then you don't know what the interpreter is saying to him. It's an obstacle.
Was there, did you ever at any time feel intimidated by Chevy because he's so imposing?
Well, he's a foot taller than me, you know? So it's, hey, you know what? I always have to talk to him like that. But he's a very sweet guy, and he's very easy to talk to, and he's very open to ideas, and he's, you know, full of ideas himself. So in that respect, no.
Do you think that in certain situations that it's an advantage to be a woman director?
It might be. I haven't found them yet. I don't know.
Still searching?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, as long as you keep turning out good films as you have, I think you won't have to worry about that.
I hope not.
Amy, very nice talking with you.
Thank you.
And good luck with the baby, with the new arrival. And we'll look forward to more films from Amy Heckerling.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Boys.
Very nice. I'm used to talking to chairs and drapes and doorknobs.
Oh, should I answer or just
No.
leave spaces?
No.
Speedy.
You want to inch it up a little, right? Want to get rid of that? Okay, that's fine. Go. Rolling.
Amy, you may be the only woman I've ever met who went on her honeymoon to Europe without her husband. How long had you been married when you went to Europe? What was it like then, trying to communicate with your husband? You're over there, he's over here. And now you have another eminent project, don't you? When is your baby due? Amy, with all the problems that we would know would happen making a film in Europe, the languages and so forth, if you knew then what you know now, would you still have done the film? Did you ever feel intimidated working with Chevy Chase? Do you and your husband ever share when you and your husband are working on separate films, do you ever kind of share with one another your problems? And now let me just give you reactions. Okay.